All right, I'm here with the annual end of the year Q&A video. So back when the game room tour video dropped, everyone who was interested, hopefully, left their comments down in the comment section with their question for the Q&A that I would read off and answer on a video. I like doing these at the end of the year, kind of just go over the end of the year, go over some questions, go over some thoughts about how the channel went. So I'll start with that first. Channel has been growing. Biggest year again for the channel, so I appreciate everyone watching. I appreciate everyone who tuned in, left a like, commented, subscribed, everything that. Whether you're new, whether you're old, I appreciate anyone who's watching this. The big thing that always sticks with me is just like, this is just a hobby YouTube channel. I don't have too many expectations where how videos do or that kind of stuff. I mean, it's kind of crazy that I have a following at all, just in the fact that I record videos with my phone and I don't have the production values that it seems like most channels need to really, go above and beyond. I don't have, infinite money to make these crazy videos where I'm buying 10,000 games in, one video. So I appreciate anyone who's watching for whatever reason. Sometimes I really wonder, but I appreciate everyone who watches, and we'll continue to do videos as long as it's fun. Obviously not a full-time job for me, so just a little hobby, and I appreciate everyone who's willing to put up with it. So I'll jump into the Q&A stuff. So first one, of course, has to be from Sky85SR, beloved Monster Hunter YouTuber. Sky85 writes in and says, "Superb game room, brother. Questions for the Q&A." He asks where I can. Wow, I can't read. Shelves are cool. Where can I cop? Boy, do I have a comment section and a description link for you, bud. Yeah, I always get that question. Not as much this year. I feel like I really went in and kind of was like, just check the link. A couple years ago, I was getting a ton of them because I like the Atlantic Oscar shelves that I use for my game room for the most part. There's only 3 shelves that are not those Atlantic Oscars, and I don't like those ones, but you guys are probably all already aware of that. But yeah, I have Amazon affiliate links to that kind of give a small kickback to the channel if you buy through them. But I just set it up mostly because people wanted to know what shelves they are, and I do recommend them. TV seems a bit too high. I beg your pardon, but is there a reason for that? So this is, of course, another reference to the fact that people got mad that they said my TV was, like my HD TV was too high. I don't really think it's too high. I feel like it's a very comfortable like viewing angle. I know people talk about like the Reddit, like TV too high, and there are some like abysmal ones where people have this tiny TV like essentially mounted on the ceiling somehow, like barely, like it doesn't make any sense. I don't, and then you'll see someone post on there and it'll be like a perfectly normal place to put a TV, or you look at the room and they're like, sorry, but I mean, where else would they put the TV? And it's like, I don't know, that's just annoying. TV's not too high, very comfortable viewing angle. Do you have a physical copy of Concord? What are your opinions on Concord? This is another joke we have just about Concord. I don't have a physical copy of Concord. I'll answer that. Maybe I should have got one because it's just kind of a funny piece of PlayStation history. We did a State of Play, like a live stream, where I think over on his channel, where we just took a look at, I think it was the one State of Play where they showed Monster Hunter Wilds, maybe for the first time, I don't remember, maybe just new information. And I remember we were sitting through the Concord section, and we were both just immediately called it, like, we were like, no one's going to care about this. Like, this is dead on arrival. And I think it's so crazy that Concord didn't even make it 2 weeks. It's nuts. That is maybe the most expensive media flop of all time. I mean, the different sources saying that it cost them around $400 million, and I mean, Sony didn't make a penny off of it. They refunded everything that every single copy that they sold, so they didn't make anything off of it. Plus, they also bought the studio that they then shut down. So Concord didn't play it. I mean, I heard it was like fine, but it was just one of those things where it's like, this looks generic. Character designs are awful. Like, it's not going to get that. I feel like if you want to have a popular multiplayer game, you have to make, like, this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's true. You have to make like characters that people think are hot and they want, like, to to goon to. That's not how I look at it, but when you look at the most popular games in that genre, there's a trend usually. People want to see the hot girls. So when you have some of these hideous characters, there's only a trash can or something. It's like, this is not going to work. But we called it back when they first showed that game off in like July or something. Or no, it was probably like May or something because the game came out in August. Whenever they first showed that game off, we were like, this is dead on arrival. I didn't expect it to be that dead though. Steven Unpredictable writes in, one of my favorite yearly game room tours on all of YouTube, just to how clean you got everything. Very nice. Well, I appreciate that. I try to keep things pretty clean and pretty organized. It's just because it acts as like most of the time I spend in there. So it's like I want this to be, pleasant to be in, and I don't want to feel like I'm surrounded with crap. So 2 questions here. When do you usually start your garage sale hunting? It depends. I would say things really kick into full gear in May. And that's when I would recommend that you're out every week that you can be. Obviously with work, I'm not able to go out in May as much. I have taken personal times to go to neighborhood sale, personal days, but not sick days, personal days. That's the difference. But I start checking as early as March. As soon as the weather breaks is a good time to start seeing like, hey, is anyone doing this? And it really depends your region. I'm in Ohio, so that's still very much winter in March. But, if you see any kind of days where the weather's starting to break, people will start having garage sales. So I would say May fully is when things pick up, but things can and have started as early as March. Second question, have you played Judgment or Lost Judgment? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Been looking to play these games and have not played a Yakuza game. I have played both Judgment, Lost Judgment. I like those games a ton. I think they're great. I think they're a great entry point if you want to get into like Ryu ga Gotoku games without having to, jump into the Yakuza games, because they are on the Dragon engine. And they're standalone. I mean, they take place in the same universe, same maps and stuff, but they're standalone and they're really good. I like them a lot. I think they both have really good stories. They both have good side content. You would be getting an experience similar to Yakuza. They play the same. It's just they're thematically different because one is about being, a former Yakuza, and one is about being a former, lawyer who's a detective. I like those games a ton. I would definitely recommend checking them out. And then if you want to get into Yakuza, this might be unpopular. I would recommend you play 0, Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2. I think the PS3 games are worth playing, but I think that you could then go on to play, if you don't want to play the PS3 games, you could play 6, kind of just catch yourself up maybe on a YouTube video of the PS3 games. And then I'd play 6 and then go on to the Yakuza Like a Dragon, which are both different. That might not be the most popular. I started with 3. Actually, I always think it's kind of funny because I got into Yakuza like right before 0 came out, because I was like, oh, I want to play this. I've heard good things. I want to at least try the series out. And the most successful one for me was to grab a PS3 copy of 3. So I'm like, I was just there on the precipice. Like I can kind of claim Yakuza because I got into it in 2016 when everyone was getting into it, with 0 in 2017 and beyond. So I can kind of be a little pretentious, but that's what I'd recommend. But I think Judgment and Lost Judgment are a great start, and it'd be a great way of seeing like, okay, do I like this gameplay? Do I like the loop? Do I like the systems? Because if you like that, then you're going to like the other games. And there's not quite as much baggage that you have to get into. Game and Rob, nice collection. I always look forward to these videos every year. I appreciate it. Were you inspired by any YouTubers prior to creating your channel? So I really liked the channel TV and Lust. That was like one of the first YouTube channels I found, and that was kind of what got me into game collecting and just kind of taking a look at games, and helped me to learn about a lot of games. And he did a lot of videos like kind of what I do now, where he would just do an in-depth look at his collection, pick up videos and stuff like that. He doesn't make videos anymore. He hasn't in a long time, and a lot of his old videos are like gone now. But he was kind of the big channel that I was like, I kind of want to do something like this. Because I kind of always was like, I don't plan on making this a big thing, and I kind of always just want to have this niche. So it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just going to kind of, this is what interests me, this is what I want to do. So yeah, I would say that was my biggest kind of inspiration. as far as that goes. Iron Lung 6316 writes in, nice, your game room is awesome. How long before you think you'll complete your N64 and Dreamcast collections? So I think both collections I have less than 10 games or fewer than 10 games to collect to complete the sets. The big ones I would say on N64 are Clay Fighter, which is obviously a pretty big one if you know, and Stunt Racer, and then I just have a bunch of random stuff like Fighting Force and Starshot and a couple other just random things. One of the International Superstar Soccers. So I think there's like 8 or 9 games left I need there, and somewhere around the same for Dreamcast. Really, the biggest one on Dreamcast that I still need is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Other than that, it's a lot of stuff like Rayman 2 I don't have complete. Really random things. So 2026 maybe? I don't know. 2025? See, I mean, I could finish these if I wanted to be financially irresponsible and also lame. I could finish these by just going on eBay and, buying them there. But I really like to try to find stuff as organically as possible, like in-game stores, at conventions, stuff like that. So I'd like to go to maybe a convention this year. I'd like to go to the Cleveland Classic Arcade Gaming Show. Probably, and I usually knock out quite a few of those. I think last time I was there, I spent like $500 and knocked out a bunch of them. But so maybe something like that. Kind of just depends what I find. If a copy of Clay Fighter comes into my local game stores, I might be trying to forge some trade credit together to grab it, stuff like that. So you never know. But I would say probably 2026 at the rate I'm going. Spoonflaps 12, random questions. Some are not serious. I'm going to take them all as serious. How much does the collection weigh? I'm thinking about around 12 pounds or so, I would say, give or take. If you have to move, what would you do with it all? So I moved back in 2018, and I'm probably within the coming years going to end up moving again. It's not fun to move a collection this big, but, put it in plastic totes, put it in boxes, and it gets from one place to another. If you had to dump your collection right now, which reseller would you let rip you off? So I would, because a lot of the YouTube resellers, my collection is not just 30 copies of Mario Kart Wii and 45 copies of Wii Sports Resort. So I don't know if a lot of the YouTube resellers would want to buy my collection from me. So I'd probably just take it all at GameStop. They have GameStop Retro now, guys, right? If you were forced to dress up as a video game character for Halloween, which one would you refuse to do? Which would I refuse to do? Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because he has 0 drip. He has anti-drip. I'd also refuse to do Sora, because he has no drip too. But definitely Rex, absolutely no drip, and he sucks. If a game is remade, do you actually go and play the original later on, like Persona 3? It depends. So I played Persona 3 before I ever, played Reload, obviously. And I would never go back to playing original Persona 3 for any, massive amount of time. Definitely not to completion, just because it feels antiquated. But stuff like, I feel like the original Silent Hill 2 is definitely still worth playing, even if the Silent Hill 2 remake is excellent. So it kind of just... it just depends on the game. Usually I like to play the original game first before the remakes, if I'm not like fully familiar with it. So something like Silent Hill 2 I was really familiar with, so I was like, okay, I'm just good to jump in. But like I played through the original Dead Space a few months because I'd never played it before I played the Dead Space remake. So it just kind of depends. But I would say certain games I feel like Dead Space I wouldn't go back to the original, but I would be more than happy to play the remake again. And Persona 3 I wouldn't go back to the original, but like Final Fantasy and the Final Fantasy remake trilogy are so different, Final Fantasy 7 specifically obviously, that I would, Final Fantasy 7 Classic is still worth playing any day of the week. So just kind of depends. Tips on negotiating, offer them, if they say they want $20, offer them $25. No, I just try to show like, hey, I'm going to be honest, this game right here, this one has some value. I can give you maybe about half since this is a garage sale. I usually tell them, like, when I'm looking for games, when I'm at a garage sale, this stuff is clearly at not tested. I don't know anything here. I'll tell them like, oh, this system, I'm missing this, and this part, so I would have to go and get these parts. I think that's one of the best ways to do it, is just kind of be honest. Not just lowball people, but try to say like, go ahead and, shoot me an offer. I always try to get people to give me the first offer, because sometimes it's like, well, man, I was thinking $100 and you just said 30. Like, well, yeah. But no, I mean, if I'm going to negotiate with someone more seriously, I will say like, I've had a couple things where I'm like, so there's a website called Price Charting, and I would give you, for this specific set of games, these are a little bit better ones, I give you 60% or 70% even. But these lower dollar games, like anything 10 and under, I would maybe only give you this percent of it. So stuff like that. I usually just try to be upfront with it all. Swift Guyver, I have a question, Obja. What are your top 10 favorite game series or franchises? I'm asking for top 10 instead of top 5 because I feel like I might know 3 or 4 of your choices already and would like a few potential surprises. Okay, so let me try to think here. Mario has to be on there. I'm trying to count these as I go. Mario, Ace Attorney, obviously, Persona, Zelda, Resident Evil. Gotta have Yakuza. I'd say Silent Hill, Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem. I got 9 I was able to just really shoot off there. I don't know. Sometimes it's interesting where it's like there are certain things where I see it as almost like a series, but it's like this isn't quite a series. So like I like Spike Chunsoft when they put out a new adventure game or whatever. But it's like Danganronpa. I don't know if that's really a series, and like there's only a few games of those. I'm trying to think of more like long running series. So maybe something like Metal Gear could be on there. I want to say like Mega Man, but I really am just familiar with like NES Mega Man. Anything from there, like I know a little bit of X. I've played a few of them, but like I don't know enough about all of Mega Man, like Legends and Battle Network and stuff like that, to really say Mega Man. So I would probably say the ones that I just listed there. I mean, but a lot of it is like I look at it like, oh, I really like this developer, what they do. I really like Grasshopper or Remedy or whoever as well. But probably those ones I shot off. I think I got 10 there, right? So I don't know if there's any surprises in that list or not. I feel like there's some obvious ones that I talk about, but I don't know if there's too many surprises there. I should have been in there and I'd be like, yeah, my favorite series actually is Atelier. And also, I really love Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's like series I've never even talked about once in my life before. Maybe you like that. I don't know. We got a couple questions from Mario Kart 8715. I've seen this game room tour a bunch of times over the past 5 years, probably. It changed over time. What handheld and home consoles did you grow up owning? So my first system I was 4. I got a hand-me-down Sega Genesis from someone my mom worked with. That was what started the gamer illness. And then from there, around the time I was 6, I remember getting a Game Boy Advance for Christmas. And then I got a GameCube like the next year. So when I was like 7, and then I remember saving up my own money back in 2007, I would have been 9, to get a Wii. And I guess those were as far as that would go. And I also had I got a DS before the Wii too, for Christmas one year, like a couple years after the GameCube. So yeah, I would say those are the systems that I would say as a kid. And then as I went into my teenage years, like I got a PS3 once the Wii had kind of run its course, and then I got like the Wii U when I was in high school and stuff. So I would say those would be kind of overall like when I was a kid, you could say the ones. When did you get those metal pipe railings for your stairs? Was your lower level unfinished or finished before the remodeling finishing? So it is in a basement. And it was unfinished. You can actually go back, and there's a couple videos. There is a video from like 2018 called like an update from the new game room, where you can see it when moved into the house and everything. It was unfinished. I mean, there was like one room that was like partially finished, and not very well done. But it was unfinished otherwise, so you can see that. And then you can also see probably there was a video like an update in like 2019 when we kind of started really remodeling it, you can kind of see some of the work in progress stuff there. But it's been finished for since 2020, so been in it as it is a few years. I forget when the railings went in, maybe last year, somewhere around there. Just nice to have. So, but yeah, somewhere around there. One of the cubes in the TV stand unit is empty. Was there a console in there? Yeah, so I had the PS4 in there, and actually on the other side I had the Xbox One S in there. And then, those systems are backwards compatible, so I didn't feel the need to have them hooked up. So in the boxes they went, just because like if I want to play anything on PS4, I would just put the PS4 disc on my PS5. So, yeah, I maybe I'll put something in there someday, maybe not. I don't know. Have you played GameCube games on the Wii back in the day and more recently? More recently, I haven't played them. Usually I just play GameCube games on GameCube now. So more recently, I can't say I have, but I used to play GameCube games on the Wii all the time. It was just a really convenient way of doing it. When I was younger at the old house with like the old game room, for a while, not ever in the history of this channel, but for a while, the Wii was actually like upstairs in the living room. So if I wanted to play GameCube games up there, I would just move everything up there. But yeah, it was a good way of doing it back then. And there was a point where I didn't have the GameCube hooked up just because I was short on space. And so I just used the Wii for both, but just play it on the GameCube now. I don't know. And I think those are the last of the questions we had there. So thank you for everyone who wrote in with a question that they had. If you had any questions and you missed it, you can throw them in the comments on this, and I'll see if I can answer them over text, but not in a video. But as far as things go for the rest of the year, one more video coming out this year. My favorite games of 2024 video will go up. Talk about some games. Some real good games came out this year, so definitely looking forward to talking about that. Probably for January, I don't think I'll upload. I might take January off. We'll see. And then, as you can probably see, I've not been doing great this year at hitting the every week video uploading, specifically in kind of just the off times. So I'm not gonna in 2025. I'm not gonna promise videos every Saturday. Whether because sometimes I don't have an idea. I don't have, time to put something together. So I'm going to shoot for like every other weekend, Saturday at that midnight time to put up a video starting in 2025. With the caveat being that more than likely, I would say every week in the summertime during garage sale flea market season, we'll see a new video released. But then in, January, or I guess February through April, and then probably from probably September, October, we'll probably not have weekly videos, and then usually I ramp up towards the end of the year with collection videos and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for this year as far as that goes. So because I feel like when I was doing the weekly videos, and they definitely helped the channel grow a lot, but at the same time, there's some videos where I was like, crap, I need a video idea. I'll just grab a couple games off my shelf and talk about them. And I don't know if maybe people like those videos, but I just wasn't a huge fan of doing that. But as always, I'm always looking for video topic recommendations that you guys might have. So leave those in the comments, because those are always helpful. Any kind of specific videos you like to see me make this coming year. But otherwise, I appreciate everyone for watching this video and just watching throughout the year in general. Stay tuned next week for the best of 2024 video. I'll probably do a most anticipated 2025 video. Maybe that'll be in January, but that might be the only upload. But otherwise, I would like to thank you for watching this one, and follow me over on Blue Sky at Obju Gaming. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching.